Representative Grant, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would you please recognize Representative Anderson in debate?
Representative Anderson, you're recognized in debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for sponsoring this bill. Thank you for your professionalism today. Thank you for your courage today and over the last few weeks. I know how difficult this is. It's so important. I didn't know if I would be able to debate on this bill today, and truthfully, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish debating on this bill today. But since I'm hearing these stories being told, I feel compelled to tell a story that I have, and it's a story about a little boy named Andrew. Andrew was born with an ultra-rare genetic disorder, one that had no cure, one that affected just 16 children. Not only did it not have a cure, it didn't even have a treatment. That disease was called Tay-Sachs disease. It's a genetic disease that causes rapid destruction of brain cells, spinal cord cells. Quickly leads to hearing loss, paralysis, loss of fine motor skills, loss of gross motor skills, and seizures, many seizures, 50, 60, maybe even 70 seizures in a single day. Andrew's quality of life was very poor. Andrew couldn't sit up. He couldn't move. He couldn't eat by himself. He couldn't drink by himself. Andrew's family's quality of life was poor also. His life required 24/7 round-the-clock care, while his parents essentially waited for him to pass away. I know this boy very well because this boy was my son. And while it was never a consideration for me or my wife to abort Andrew, many parents that receive a diagnosis in utero of a disease like Andrew had make that decision. And part of me can relate to why they would make that decision, because it's scary. It's horrible. But people who make that decision never get to realize what happened in our life over the next few years. Andrew went on to inspire hundreds, if not thousands, of members of our community and our church. His life gave his sister an unmatched compassion for children with disabilities. He motivated my family to dedicate the next few years, and the next few years even going forward, to work with organizations that are advancing cures for rare diseases, one in particular that launched the first clinical trial to cure Tay-Sachs disease. And while this trial is in its infancy, the first 9 children who received this treatment are alive and well today. If it wasn't for Andrew, I wouldn't be in this legislature today. I would have never run for office. A seat that I hope to use over these next few years to advance research and cures for genetic diseases like Tay-Sachs. To be able to impact lives of hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe even save thousands of lives when we're successful at advancing those cures. So don't try to tell me that lives like Andrew's don't matter. Don't try to tell me that a baby is an obligation. A baby is a blessing. All babies are blessings, no matter how long or short their lives may be. So as we get to a point where we need to vote, like it's been said before, we're probably not going to say anything here that's going to change anyone's vote. But I would challenge you to think about the story of Andrew Anderson, the story of Nate Abbott, and think about what that story might have been like for those 82,000 babies who were aborted in our state last year. What could they have done? What kind of life could they have lived? What kind of impact could they have had? Unfortunately, members, we will never know the answer to that.
Leader Grant. Leader Grant, you're recognized in debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We will waive our time in the remainder of this section.